Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my round 23 team review, going through how it was a really good round for me, another bounce back round in which I gained over 200 ranks again back, so only having one bad week I guess, and then pretty much just overdoing what I was a couple rounds ago when I was over a ranking of 1490. Now I'm back to 1461, so 1461, so I'm pretty much in the same spot as I was a couple weeks ago, evading that, getting through that liver injury and not really changing too much, I guess. So a bounce back round for me, as was a lot of people, as we had a lot of the premiums go bang this week. So yeah, overall rank for the round of 2758. Team value fluctuates at this point, but it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, I'm sitting in an alright position, and then a round score of 2541, so yeah, pretty good effort all round. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on, especially with new content, new series coming out in the near future as we switch over to, I guess, hopefully I'll be able to keep up with the AFLW Fantasy and keep up a similar time, similar sort of schedule with that, and then also hopefully do some other things on this channel before we get into, I guess, the cricket season is coming up in the next couple of months, and we'll be doing BBL content and stuff like that. So let's get into the, I guess, recap. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you guys. There we go, that makes it big enough. So you have Jordan Dawson here, 96. Just didn't get going against Sydney due to the hard tag from Callum Mills. Ended up getting the 8 tackles that really got all his points. 8 tackles, 2 behinds, that's 34 in itself. The 3 and 1 cancel out, and then the 4 marks as well. So that was 32, 34, 46 non-disposal points, so a good percentage there. Would have liked to have seen more marks, but then again, it was against the Swans, so in that controversial game, so I'm glad that he didn't take the game away from us. Sicily, 78, really struggled against Melbourne. Don't know if they necessarily ran someone with him. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I didn't catch too much of this game, but like Sicily is going to occur with Sicily and a lot of defenders, you're going to have weeks where they just cop someone as this forward tagger that's come into the game in the last month, or the last 3 or 4 years, really, the forward tagger that tags a defender. It's really proved to actually be influential as footy has gone into this more distribution sort of, being able to hit targets more effectively rather than just being a brute force type of league, I guess, with a lot of teams playing that sort of uncontested mark game and trying to go up the field that way. So Sicily being one of those guys, he can easily cop a tag or a player running with him and cop a lower score. We saw it with that North Melbourne game here, the 65. The Port game a little while ago. Did he play Port and that happened, or was that Tom Stewart that occurred to? We've seen it happen as well with the Geelong. I believe he copped a run along there, and I believe Freo he did as well, cop a run along there. Western Bulldogs, I don't think he did. I think he just had a bad game there. Nick Newman, 125, doubled up for a 150. Had to take that score because it was a 125. I was always going to take anything above about, I think I said my barrier was 117, 118 around that point. And Newman was close to not hitting that. I mean, he had a bad third quarter of about 10 or 15. So if that was a 25 or 30 point quarter, we're looking at a 140 there. And then that's no different to any of the like English, Marshall, Bont people. So yeah, just really happy with that score and really happy with the scores that he's put in. I believe I've got him now. Have I got him the last 3 weeks, or was last week the trade-in week for me with Nick Newman? So I've had Newman the last 2 weeks, and he's averaged what 263. So that's 131.5. He's averaged in a time with me. So yeah, really good score from him. And obviously I took his VC double, so I put in Mullins, and that was a watch. I was watching that like coverage basically until that game started, because I was worried with Mullins being an emergency every single time, and with Hoff and stuff like that potentially like Hoff being out so late, almost to the point where you're locked out of that decision to put Mullins back in, etc. I was watching that like a hawk, just hoping that Mullins wasn't going to play and Tommy Stewart would count, etc. And I got that correct, I guess. And yeah, Tommy Stewart banged off the bench. We'll get to him in a second. Doherty 80, wish I had traded him out instead of Cogs, as that would have really completed my lineup. And that probably would have meant that I would have a more luxury trade in getting a Miller in instead of instead of the likes of a Windtager or something like that. I just stuffed that up, and I didn't think Doherty was gonna go so low, but it was a risk, I guess, and I should have realized that and should have planned for that, I guess. But I didn't realize that Cogs's role would return, and I was just going off details that the last 2 weeks his role had turned bad, and if I had more time I probably should have realized that it was only, I think, a week or two that it was bad, and he goes through fluctuations like that as well. So yeah, that's on my part, and I should have realized that I think Essendon are worse than they show on the, like, mentally. When I look at a Essendon matchup, I don't think it's the greatest matchup. I think it's sort of in the middle, sort of, but it's actually a really favourable matchup now. The last couple of weeks have shown for a lot of players. Sinclair 136, absolutely huge from him. Him and the Saints boys, the Saints crew that I have, dined out again, and just against Geelong, 38 touches, 10 marks, 1 tackle, and no free kick differential or anything, and no goals or behinds. But 136 is huge. Especially off 1 tackle. He got 136 off 1 tackle, and then you got Stewart here 133, 13 marks. He did absolutely amazing work, and Western Bulldogs, wouldn't be surprised if they put someone to him. I mean, did he play He played Western Bulldogs for a 115. He'll be fine, I think. He'll be fine. So he'll be there for next round. Bont 140, absolutely amazing. Could be on for the Brownlow, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight with him. I don't think he's necessarily done enough now looking at it. I thought he'd done enough when Dacos went down. I thought he'd just continue on. He'd get, with Dacos going down with if I look here, Dacos, he hasn't played 2 rounds. With Dacos going down with 3 rounds to go, I thought Bont needs 6 or so votes, right, in that time. And he's probably gotten 2, maybe 3, but I don't think he's gotten enough. I think Dacos has at least gotten a drawn Brownlow, so I think he's at least gotten his name on I guess the medal. But I don't know if, I think he can now easily win it outright if Bont doesn't have a best on ground against Geelong. But then again, the betting sites are always way off, so wouldn't be surprised if Bont wins it or someone else like that wins it. Merritt 94, he's just sucked the last couple of weeks. Wish I could have, I wouldn't have obviously traded him out north, but maybe against Giants you could have seen that coming. He copped I believe another tag, but just never got going. He looks like he's just ejected. Like, there's nothing much he can do at this point. Essendon are just in for another rebuild, it seems like. At the moment, they don't seem good enough at all. Track got, I believe, tagged, or just didn't have a good enough game. 75 from him, a 1-goal 1. So, and only 22 touches and no non-disposal points, really. So, just sucks. And I believe he's going to be out of my side this next round for Laird, as Laird's playing the Eagles, which is a VC or or captain split with him or Dawson, depending on who I think is going to do better. And then the VC will probably be on Marshall, because Marshall has Brisbane, and Brisbane, actually, their ruck at the moment is plus, I think, 12 or something like that on players average. So plus 12 would be a 127. And then if we look at him, did he play Brisbane before? He went 105 against Brisbane, so I'm pretty safe, I think, in going Marshall there. Crouch 100 came back into form. I don't know if he'll necessarily be there. I think he will, because I think I'm going to be cautious against with Reeves's combination for Jackson, and get rid of Jackson there. and get in a forward in Flanders or Butters. I think that's the go. So Crouch will survive, and he does play Brisbane. And if we look against Brisbane, he did score 116, so I'm pretty confident with Crouch that he can go large. Brayshaw finally starting to pay out, I guess, a little bit from when I got him in that post-buy. I mean, he's gone 97, 91, and the rest tons, but there's never been that really 130, 135, 140 games. He's had a 129 and a 122 and a 119, so just a lot of low 100s, which you really needed him to push on a little bit more than that. Parrish 96 just sucks. I got him in for the 2 matchups, got good scores, and now I have to take the pain because there's some other guys that we need upgrading. Steele 115 against Geelong. Against Brisbane he went 104, so pretty happy that he's back. It looks like he's back, but I mean, he had a 2-week spurt here, then 1 game off, and you can see it's almost eerily similar to this, and then he goes bad against West Coast. So just hoping Steele finishes the year off fine. Playing Brisbane for a chance to host an elimination final, so I would expect them to try and turn up and win. I don't necessarily know if they can topple Brisbane with how well they're playing, but I think Steele should at least turn up and want to play well. Then you have Treloar 143. This was the trade-in of the week. I mean, I think it was like 3rd highest scorer for the round or something like that. And yeah, to trade him in against the Eagles, I knew the Eagles was going to be a juicy matchup, and 14 tackles was just ridiculous. And yeah, just a really good. And then he plays Geelong, in which he's had his one of his other really high scores of the year, where he went 11 tackles. So obviously, I'm just worried about injury, but other than that, Treloar's looking pretty good. Then we move on to the Ruckman, and 287 between them, absolutely huge. English 146, just 51 hitouts. I'm pretty sure there was something over like 110, 115 hitouts. Let me just double check that. Let me just double check. Let me see. Here we go. I believe that's, yep, there we go. Just had to, so I can show this for you guys. If I go over to here, then I go down to, actually not there. I go down to, scroll down to, where is this West Coast matchup? Here we go, this West Coast matchup. Then I need to flip the, I got hitouts in there anyway. Hitouts here, 51, 41, 5, 5, and 1. So yeah, a really good showing that there was 102 hitouts in that game. And yeah, it just shows that, the Eagles games, they give out for hitouts, I guess. So it really shows that you can score really well against the Eagles. And yeah, so 146 against the Eagles was absolutely huge. Has Geelong next week, but just due to the way it plays out, I really want to attack this West Coast matchup, so I don't believe I will be going English, but I could be swayed a little bit and want to actually go the full way with both the boys in with both of them in Marshall and English, and go the Rucks, because the Rucks are a pretty juicy matchup. But it would suck, because I think the perfect play for me would be these 2 games swapping around and having English VC into Laird/Dawson. That was going to be the play, but I think Marshall is still a good enough play. Then you got Gordon, 107, good. And yeah, just continuing on, plays Melbourne this week. Last time against Melbourne, he went 71. So hopefully he has that better wing role and yeah, can put out a better output than that. Rosie, 89. First non-ton since round 9 against North Melbourne. So yeah, hopefully he comes back against Richmond. Last time against Richmond, he went 102. So yeah, hoping for something similar. Dunkley, 102, limped over the 100 line there. And against Collingwood, plays St Kilda. Against St Kilda previously, he went 120. So hopefully he can do the same. It's at the Gabba, though, not under the roof. So we'll see what Dunkley puts up. Taranto, 89, plays Port. Against Port earlier in the year, he went 145. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes huge again, but it seems like he's tapered off a little bit to end the year, which is a little bit annoying, but hopefully he can do well. Then you have Sheasel here doing amazing against, and then plays Gold Coast, where he went 47 last time, but he was chucked in the midfield. He was chucked up forward. They had Hall. They had taggers. So he could get tagged, but he's playing on his own in a bad north side against Gold Coast, who have put up... how many behinds did Gold Coast kick in their last game. They kicked 9 behind, so that's potentially upwards of like 4 or 5 kickouts at least for Sheasel, probably more. So that's already 15 points. I'm pretty happy with Sheasel being down back and scoring well there. Then you have Jackson, where I lost 12 points out to Windhager. That really sucks. I mean, in a perfect world, I would have got the points for Windhager from Doherty, Windhager from Petrarca, and gotten 20 points there. Gotten my captain right, 21 more points, so 41 more points there. So, and then, or potentially, and also Doherty, taking him out instead of Cogs would have got me another 24 points. So that's what, 20 points, 21, 24, 65 points that I could have got. So 2,600 was on the cards if I got every move right. So yeah, pretty good week from me. Jackson did his job, did it well against the Eagles, did it well against Port, but I just don't like that. I'm nervous about this this Hawks matchup against Hawks last year. Earlier in the year, he went 117. I mean, he has the capability to get those tackles and marks, but I'm just worried. So I'm going to probably do a preventative trade to a Butters or a Flanders from Jackson. And then Windhager will be a 23rd guy on the midfield bench. And I think I can loophole him in if he does go large, because we got Richmond playing on the Sunday against Port, so I can loophole him and see if there's any. Is there any like midfielders, or is it? We'll wait and see on that one whether I can actually do that. North Melbourne, when do they play? They play on the Saturday morning, so can't do that matchup. And Hawks are playing Ramsden at the moment, but that would be a Saturday morning anyway. So, yeah, we'll see if there's anyone that I necessarily want to trade, use him against. But yeah, use him for if Windhager goes large. But that is pretty much the video there. One of the last reviews of the year, and hopefully if I actually did it right, I'll be able to show what I was looking at on my phone on the actual screen so that you can see that as well. But that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the trade targets for the last time this year. And that'll be Thursday alongside my predictions, and then Friday will be the last team preview. Thanks guys. Goodbye.